final level of bug eating.
I don't want to eat them, bro.
Imagine a creature that everybody hates for how destructive it is.
These things are an absolutely devastating scourge for some of these farms. Once coconut worms get into the tree, there is no saving it at all.
It is highly illegal, just nasty to look at, and pretty dangerous if you don't eat it right.
Bệnh nhân bị phản vệ độ 2, nếu không được xử lý kịp thời sẽ chuyển sang sốc phản vệ gây nguy hiểm tính mạng.
And yet, somehow, it tastes so good that people are willing to eat it alive just to have it at its freshest. In fact, it is so prized it's even earned a spot on one of Vietnam's few Michelin-Starred menus. This is the reality of the coconut worm. So today we're taking a deep dive. Why is it banned? How can something so gnarly be so popular to eat? And can it possibly be worth a spot on a Michelin-Starred menu? This is the reality of the coconut worm. Let's dive in. To find out why this little guy's banned, we're headed to the coconut capital of Vietnam, Bến Tre.
Good morning, people. Today we are deep in the Mekong in one of the coconut capitals of the entire world. Right here in Bến Tre, they produce most of the coconut products that come out of Vietnam. Hundreds of thousands of hectares here are dedicated to producing coconuts.
But first, I need to tell you about Storyblocks. We're in Mumbai trying to capture some just epic footage of this amazing city.
But between the just endless permits, no-fly zones, some of the most drone-savvy, sensitive police force that I have ever run into, let's just say we're going to be staying grounded on this trip, and we have been wasting an absolute ton of time. And so while looking into options, I realized that I should have just used Storyblocks. Sure, we needed pretty classic common shots like Mumbai skyline, but we also needed really obscure niche stuff. Dobby Gat's laundry slum. And guess what? Storyblocks, they had it all, along with other countless templates, music tracks, HD clips,
all of which we've been using to put together this series that you can find on my channel right now.
It's unlimited downloads at one predictable price. There's no hidden fees or anything like that. It's not just about saving money, it's about elevating the level of your content and being able to tell the story that you really want to tell without being held back by bureaucracy. To get started with unlimited stock media at one set price, please head to storyblocks.com/Andrew Fraser or hit the link in the description. Now, let's get back to trying to save the rest of this documentary.
Nowadays, coconut water is often extracted and sold bottled. But nothing goes to waste in the Mekong. Every part of the coconut has a purpose. First, there's the oil.
This facility we've arrived at today, their business is coconut oil. It is one of the larger products that comes out of this region.
It's run by Xuan, a young coconut farmer and entrepreneur. It starts with splitting open a coconut. Simple, almost primal. Then the flesh is scraped out.
What's crazy to me is just with this strange curved knife thing, he's able to get perfect cuts of the coconut meat out. Look at that. That's pretty much perfection, right? Once the coconut flesh has been taken out of the hard shells,
it's loaded into these huge plastic baskets. The coconut is then thoroughly cleaned, removing any excess husk or chips from the shell.
That is some clean coconut. And I mean, you can see the difference right away.
Next, a large grinder is used to shred the flesh into a moist, powdery form. The grounds are tightly wrapped to create compact square bundles. And finally, a large hydraulic press is used to squeeze out that delicious coconut milk. Rich, thick, pouring out in what feels like gallons.
Man, that is crazy. Honestly, that was an absolutely insane amount of coconut milk that came out of that press. I was not expecting that at all.
But that's not where it ends. It's time to render it down into oil.
So once we get those large tubs of coconut milk, your guess is, well, was as good as mine. This is wild. We've just stepped into this huge room full of massive vats being stirred. Okay, so I've just stepped outside to get away from the noise a little bit. I was asking how long they're going to be stirring that stuff until they're able to really get that oil from it. And they said 5 or 6 hours. These two ladies are going to be stirring those pots in that room for 5 or 6 hours. Next time you guys are complaining about the cost of coconut oil at your local supermarket, just think about that for a minute. That is wild.
The milk is cooked down for hours, constantly stirred over an open flame, smoke swirling through the room. It's laborious, relentless, but the result's pure coconut oil, the kind that's been made the same way for generations. And then there's the husk, the tough, fibrous outer shell that most people would likely just toss aside. Here, it is a valuable resource.
These coconuts behind me are green coconuts. It's very likely that these have been used. If you've had that like canned coconut water in the West, then it's likely come from a coconut just like this. But then the rest of the coconut is not thrown away. And this is what happens to it.
They come in by the trailer load, forming mountains that line the courtyard. Workers haul them into baskets and toss them into giant grinding machines, shredding them down to fine strands of coir. The machine splits it out into 2 forms. One, a sawdust-like consistency, perfect for potting mix, which gets bagged up and loaded onto the riverside for boats. The other, long, stringy fibers tumble down a spinning wire chute, separating and fluffing up as they go. These fibers are spread out under the hot sun to dry and to toughen up.
And this fiber here is where the real money is. I mean, this stuff is turned into absolutely everything.
Strong and durable, they will eventually be turned into ropes, mats, brushes, insulation. Coconut fiber is turned into anything tough that needs to last. Once they're dried, they're tied up into huge bales of fiber, ready to be shipped. Benchair is thriving, with over 70,000 hectares of coconut plantations and facilities that bottle, extract, turn husks into fiber and potting mix. The entire industry is here. Vietnam exports a staggering 500 million coconuts every single year. And the beating heart of that entire industry is Benchair. This province alone cranks out over 40% of the country's coconuts, earning its place as Vietnam's coconut capital. You can feel the industry pulse everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's coconuts on the move. Trucks inch down narrow roads, boats bob along the river packed to capacity, and motorbikes struggle under the weight of their loads. And thousands of locals here rely on the industry to keep things running. But coconut worms threaten it all. More than just a pest, they are a menace that can silently devastate the coconut industry from within. Not truly worms, but rather the larvae stage of the Asian palm weevil. They burrow deep into the trunk of a coconut tree, feeding on the wood and weakening the structure of the tree. This quickly results in a tree that bears no fruit and eventually results in its collapse.
These things are an absolutely devastating scourge for some of these farms. Once coconut worms get into the tree, there is no saving it at all.
The impact on coconut production is immediate. Fewer coconuts and the complete loss of trees, which take years to grow back. For farmers, the scale of the destruction can be staggering. Coconut worms can spread quickly, wiping out vast sections of plantation in a matter of months. It is for this reason that farming coconut worms is strictly illegal. These little grubs have the potential to bring an entire region's economy to its knees.
Cây dừa này cũng bị đu ngăn nè, thấy không? Các bạn thấy mấy cái hoài nó bị sụi xuống hết trơn hết. Có dấu hiệu là bị chết rồi. Còn cái đọt thì nó có dấu hiệu bị vàng đi. Chắc chắn trong đây sẽ có đuông dừa, không chạy đi đâu được hết.
But despite this, so high is the demand on the streets of Saigon that many skirt the law in order to profit from this forbidden delicacy, ensuring that worms remain a constant threat.
I heard that it is illegal to farm these coconut worms. Is that correct?
Đúng rồi. Cái con này không được phép nuôi bởi vì nó là cái con gây hại mà nó lây lan rất là nhanh. Nó có thể gây chết cả một cái vườn dừa của mình và cái vườn dừa của người khác kế bên nữa.
For small farmers like Xuan, whose livelihoods revolve around coconut oil production, even a small infestation can be devastating. So, no risks are taken. Detection results in the immediate removal of the tree.
We're about 3 kilometers away from the factory at Miss Wynn's coconut plantation, and we are on the search for coconut worms. Once you find it, there is no other alternative. They must be removed. The entire tree must be cut down.
Xuan and her workers check their plantation every day for signs of worm. We join today, and it's not long before we find the problem. From the outside, we find a tree that looks pretty healthy. But it's been growing slowly, more slowly than expected. And it turns out that if you check carefully, you can literally hear gnawing sounds coming from the inside.
Okay, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, but this gentleman here who's helping us find these coconut worms, he was just listening to this tree, and he could like hear the coconut worms inside it. That's how he knew that we need to remove this tree. That seems absolutely wild to me. I can hear nothing. It sounds like a normal tree, but it's gotta go. Sorry, buddy.
So we cut down the tree with a chainsaw. And once the tree is down, the workers start prying the wood apart with an axe, working through layer after layer. Inside, nestled within the wood, are the culprits. Fat, wriggling coconut worms.
I've got to admit, what is kind of surprising to me as we're digging through this tree is just how many coconut worms are in such a small tree, and with it still looking relatively healthy and within one piece from the outside.
It is hard to believe that something so small can cause such destruction. And it's unbelievable how many there are in a small tree in such a small amount of time.
All right, there's another one. Look at that. The crazy, crazy creature. And yeah, those mandibles, they bite.
It's also kind of amazing that despite their appearance, people demand to eat these things.
I don't want to eat them, bro.
Đấy, mình lau sạch nha. Đấy, con này ăn được luôn. Rất là ngon, béo nữa.
And worms that are extracted from trees like this are naturally occurring and can be legally sold, helping to meet the massive demand for this traditional legacy. Despite their gross appearance and the belief that they are best eaten alive, there is a strong cultural tradition and appetite for coconut worms.
So these guys were just letting me know that they will be eating these fried up, chin, sao. But we're leveling up. What I want to see is how these are prepared in Saigon. Why is there such an insane demand? Let's go to the final source.
Believe it or not, my friend Peter, a renowned Michelin-Starred chef from Ang Ang, Saigon, is such a fan that he's added it to the menu.
And we're going to see how he is able to elevate one of the most challenging ingredients within Vietnamese cuisine, especially for foreigners. I mean, the Vietnamese, they love it.
Why the coconut well?
They taste good.
We start out with a blend of coconut cream and coconut rum. A dash of vanilla essence is added. It's stirred with ice and it's shaken. A mix of coconut shavings and brown sugar is dusted on top. And finally, the star of the show is added. First, they are beheaded, dusted with brown sugar, and caramelized with a blowtorch. They're then skewered and placed on top of our shot glass.
The way we're gonna do this, we're gonna take the worm,
Okay.
just the worm. We do a cheers.
Cheers.
Then we're gonna do the
eating bit?
yeah. Chew it, and you can put the steak down. You see, you get a bit of the gạo in the flavor.
It's really surprisingly good. Crispy on the outside. It has a bit of that gush, but not too much. It's not going to explode. More creamy. That's surprisingly good. I think this sugar helps quite a lot.
Yes, so we do cheese with coconut rum, a little bit of crispy coconut on top. So
Let's go.
And it's outstanding. Really.
Wow.
It is truly incredible.
thank you for trying.
I'm blown away. You still have the flavor of the original coconut worm. You can see it touches on the essence of why people like it, why it's part of Vietnamese culture. And then it just this incredibly contemporary way. That's really, really impressive.
We're not aiming just purely to, as a fear factor thing, people actually want to enjoy and appreciate the product. You know, so we have fresh coconut came from Mekong Delta. These worms live there, so it's all about the Mekong Delta, but done in a kind of modern, fun way.
Yeah, I love the story. I love it's a bit of a show. It's fun, like you said. You get this fruitiness through it, and again, it kind of actually still showcases the ingredient. You're not just hiding it below these things. That's really good. I get like a little bit of apple. I wonder if it's because they're eating the apple.
Yes, so you get a little bit of coconut apple flavor because they've been eating this for the last week or so.
Yep.
So when they come to us, they only taste like coconut. But they come to us, we introduce them a new food. They like apples. We have apples available at our bar. So
They take on that flavor.
yes, correct. So you get a little sweetness from the apple coming through.
Really good.
Awesome.
In fact, Peter has taken something as off-putting as coconut worm and made it into something that is not just approachable, but is downright delicious. If you find yourself in Saigon, don't skimp on this dish. It is a must try. But as Peter quickly reminds me,
The level 1 is very accessible. So we take the worm and we caramelize them with sugar, so it basically tastes like a coconut worm candy. Level 2, we do a sashimi style. That means we don't caramelize, they still fresh. Level 3 is we keep the worm still alive, and then you have to hold it yourself. So that will be the final challenge for the worm once you get to level 3.
and we're not getting out of this without taking it on the traditional way.
All right. Jesus Christ.
The highest level is eating these things alive, soaked in fish sauce.
I've got to admit, this is kind of beating me down. I feel like there are few things that are as intimidating on earth as you can eat as this. This is the peak level of kind of intimidation. You have something that's alive and it's an insect and it's kind of live and squirming around. I mean, look at that thing. That is kind of gross. I can feel it crunching through my chopsticks. Final level of bug eating. Let's try and go for this.
It is an experience that truly separates the adventurous from the squeamish, and it is something that I have managed to avoid for over a decade of living in Vietnam.
Oh no.
Until now.
Again, you really got to have pretty good chopstick skills here. Oh my God. Wow. That is intense. You get the real gush of bug, that explosion of flavor. But really, the coconut worm itself, if anything, it is sweet. It has an odd texture because you really still got to work the exterior casing, which I was not expecting. And I've got to admit, there's a little bit of that sweet, watery coconut, creamy gush to it. Look, what's kind of gnarly now is I've seen that head that got ripped off just sitting in my nuoc mam. I mean, oh, that is whack.
I tried a few more of them.
Yeah, it needs some working. If you can get past the fact that it's a worm, it's surprisingly good.
And then I gave up on eating them alive. So we gave them a quick grill and finished them up.
Bamboo worms, coconut worms, don't f***ing matter to me. It's going down. That's a lie.
It's a lie.